Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, November 5th, 2014. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Staff in the Public Health Department of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment earlier today participated in a workshop on prevention, management and control of rodents. The workshop was held at the conference room of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Chief Health Education Officer Neri highlights the important role of his staff to ensure that vectors do not interfere with the lives and livelihoods of Vincentians.
We want to be at the head of the curve. We want to be at the head of our game. We are dealing with infectious disease, particularly those that relates to mosquito now. But we realize sooner or later we will have other infectious disease. Okay? And we are equipping ourselves to deal with rats and mice right now. Hence we having one-day workshop here to deal with issues concerning rats and mice. It may sound trivial. Why do we spend a lot of our time dealing with rats and mice? Rats and mice are responsible for transmitting up to 35 diseases. They spread diseases from their salivas, their urine, their feces. They also spread it by mice, ticks, and flea. So we realize how important they are in health-wise. Hence, we are having this workshop.
Senior Health Officer Todd points out that rodent control has been a major challenge for the Environmental Health Department over the years.
Despite the numerous initiatives taken in the past to combat against the vector, the long-term outcomes have been proven unsuccessful. Rodents need three essential elements to survive, namely food, water, and shelter. Unfortunately, we are all guilty of providing such favorable conditions for the infestation of rodents. A primary example is Kingston, our capital. Lack of installation of grease traps in the numerous restaurants around the capital causes food particles to become readily available in the drains. A constant disregard for littering, although a lot of work has been done through various agencies to provide receptacles in strategic locations around Kingston, and a lack of resources to constantly implement strategies are constant reminders of the magnitude of the matter at hand. However, the problem is not limited to Kingston. The entire country is affected by rodents and its associated diseases. In this case, we are looking at leptospirosis. Methods such as vector and disease surveillance are employed by the unit to gather data on rodents and to derive various trends. Over the years, the amount of leprosy cases has fluctuated both in the number of persons affected and the location where the persons were affected. However, make no mistake, one case is a case too many.
He said one of the methods of preventing the increase of vectors is an integrated framework.
These components include cultural, mechanical, physical, and biological control. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment is working proactively to control the spread of rodents and their diseases in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Rodent surveillance, disease surveillance, environmental management, inspection of food establishments, baiting, and sensitization workshops are some of the approaches taken. Ladies and gentlemen, the issue of rodents is one not to be taken lightly. When one can see a nocturnal creature appearing in the day, then one can conclude that the problem is grave. In closing, rodents pose a serious threat to the tourism and agricultural industry and the health and well-being of all Vincentians. To maintain a comfortable standard of living, the onus is placed on all Vincentians to become proactive in the fight against rodents. Public health is a matter of national interest. The participation of every Vincentian can take us one step closer to successfully and consistently controlling and managing rodents and their associated diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, a clean as St. Vincent and the Grenadines leads to healthier life.
Former government Senator Andrea Young-Lewis has been appointed new High Court Registrar effective November 1st. Young-Lewis served as senator for the ruling Unity Labour Party from 2001 to 2005. She was also Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly from 2001 to 2003 and Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Transport, Works and Housing from 2003 to 2005. Young replaces Tamara Gibson Marks, who was asked to resign from the post by Attorney General Judith Jones Morgan over missing funds. She was later charged for 3 offences. However, one of the charges was discontinued and she was fined EC $10,500 for the 2 charges of theft and abuse of authority and is now facing disbarment. Meanwhile, a new board of directors has been elected to serve the SVG Hotel and Tourism Association for the next 2 years. The 2014 biennial general meeting took place yesterday at the Sunset Shows Hotel. Kim Halbish was re-elected to serve as the president for the new board for a 2nd term. The vice president position went to Fitzroy Glascow of Mariners Hotel. The SVG-HTA is said to be presently collaborating with the Ministry of Tourism and the SVG Tourism Authority in celebrating Tourism Month, and is also in the process of finalizing plans for the 2014 Tourism Awards and Cocktails sponsored by CIBC First Caribbean International Bank. The awards and cocktails will be held at Hotel Alexandrina on Saturday, November 22nd. Members of the media were today part of a familiarization exercise hosted by the Ministry of Tourism as part of activities to mark Tourism Month 2014. Among the places visited were Fort Charlotte, the Botanical Gardens, and the Richmond Vale Academy. The brief history of the Botanical Gardens was presented by a representative of the Ministry of Tourism, Sports and Culture, Gloria Williams.
This is the Botanical Gardens, started in 1765 by then Governor of the entire Eastern District of the Caribbean and the horticulturalist and military surgeon, the first curator, George Young. It really started on 20 acres of land. After a while, the gardens, they took 5 of these acres and they built the residence of the then governor, which is now the official residence of the Governor General. 20 acres of land is about 18,000 square meters. Now, the botanical gardens were actually started because of 2 main reasons. There was need for an area where an indigenous supply of plants could be found and nurtured to support the Kew Gardens in England. So this was the project constructed to service Kew Gardens in England. That's why it said that it was built in conjunction with those gardens.
The Vincy Fair Trade Fashion Show is being deemed a success by local designers. Last Friday afternoon, fashionistas, well-wishers and members of the media gathered under the geese shed to closely observe the designs on display by 2 of SVG's young talented designers. The clothing were created by Kimya Glascow, while the accessories were made by Ikesha Delpesche. Speaking to SVG-TV, Glascow said the event gave her the exposure that she needs to grow as a young designer and commends the organizers for their effort.
Kimya Glascow, a proud Vincentian designer, and I'm showcasing my pieces here at Vincy Trade Show, the 3rd effort put on by this venture. I think it's really exciting that they're on to their 3rd year. It's a perfect opportunity for Vincentian business persons to show what they're made of and for the public to see what we're all about. My collection is all about bright colors and movement because it shows Vincy at its best.
The other designer featured at the event is Ikesha Delpesche. Delpesche thanked persons for their support and encouraged other young persons interested in fashion to be a part of the event next year.
I'm a fashion designer in handbags. I produce fine handcrafted handbags with a classy, rootsy look for every woman. This trade fair is a good venture for me. It gives me exposure and as well it boosts my confidence, seeing that the response I'm getting from the public, they are very appreciative of my work.
Here is a look at some of the designs which were on the runway at last Friday's event. Still to come, too many guns in wrong hands in SVG. More stories on the local scene when SVGTV News continues. Stay with us. Welcome back. While there is need for concern about the growing number of gun violence here, the police say they are committed to ensuring the safety of all law-abiding citizens and visitors. Head of the Major Crime Unit, Station Sergeant Trevor Bailey, said statistics show that there has been a growing number of gun crimes in the country, and from his vantage point, there are far too many guns in the wrong hands and on the streets of SVG.
I believe, and this is my belief, that the number of guns on the streets is being fueled through the drug trade. Even the recent spate of killings that we have had in St. Vincent, it was as a result of some drugs being stolen. So the drug trade is fueling the supply of arms and ammunition in cities and venues, and we definitely will step up our vigilance in regards to our borders, because they must be coming in from somewhere. And if they're not coming through, if we're not finding them through the airport, then we must look at the other ports of entries or other areas of concern. So we will definitely try to step up our vigilance in these areas.
Statistics show that of the 33 killings thus far for 2014, 23 was a result of gunshot. Sean Karen Schuett, a young businessman of Rockies, is warded at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, nursing several cutlass wounds to his left hand, including 2 fingers which were severed in the process. The incident is said to have stemmed from a financial transaction between Schuett and Rylan Gurley, another resident of Rockies, on November 1st, 2014. Gurley appeared in court on Tuesday and pleaded guilty to unlawful and malicious wounding. He was ordered to pay compensation to Schuett in the sum of $2,000 to be paid by January 5th, 2015. In default, an 18-month jail term will be imposed. He was also placed on a bond in the sum of $2,500 for 1 year, which if he breaches, he will be jailed for 9 months. Meanwhile, a 3-year jail term was this morning handed down to Kimya Franklin, a 19-year-old laborer of Otley Hall. Franklin was found by Chief Magistrate Ration Brown Matthias on 2 separate gun and ammunition charges without the relevant license on May 9th, 2014. A post-mortem examination has revealed that this country's latest murder victim, Paul Spence of Barely, died as a result of a chop wound to the head. 4 days after Spence was found dead in his house by his niece, a post-mortem examination was conducted to obtain the actual cause of death. Spence's death pushes the number of killings carried out here thus far for 2014 to 33, with 30 being classified as homicides. Police are yet to make an arrest for the killing of the former Barely resident. Credit unions and other cooperatives here will participate in a symposium tomorrow. The symposium is geared towards exploring solutions for the development and sustainability of the cooperative sector in the face of growing regulations and increasing challenges. During the symposium, more than 50 cooperative executives, volunteers, activists, regulatory officials, and experts will look at where they want to place the cooperative sector now and in the future. They will discuss fresh ideas and experience in relation to cooperative development regulation, governance, management, services, networking, advocacy, and succession. Participants will learn strategies to better comply with the new requirements of credit unions and heightened responsibility for cooperative leaders, resulting from legislative and prudential changes. The sessions will also equip participants with the knowledge and skills to change behaviors and mindsets and facilitate greater intercooperative collaboration. The symposium, hosted by the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Cooperative League in collaboration with the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions, will be facilitated by a team of cooperative experts from countries across the OECS who will join the event via video conferencing.